At school, teachers will take the place of God. At home, parents will take the place of God. The message was very clear. You are at home or you are at school, God is always watching you. Dear Toastmasters, a very good evening to you.
Good evening.
That is my topic for today, and I will start by narrating a small story. My contemporaries would probably be able to appreciate some of the words. So I was doing my management, and I was staying at the MS University hostel, the LBS hall. That was the day when there was a 4 o'clock presentation cum submission of the very first project in my life, and it was to be my first ever attempt at public speaking. So obviously I was very, very jittery, I was very nervous, and I had bitten all my nails, and it was a tough situation. I was really having butterflies. Many people say that we are having butterflies, but that day was a real tough day for me. Well, so most of my friends and my group mates had already left for the faculty, but here I was, still practicing for my last moment, still reading my books, still trying to rehearse, still trying to improve my presentation, and it was really a nervous situation. I had timed myself to reach just in time for the 4 o'clock session so that I don't have to actually do small talk and jokes with my friends, because I was not really comfortable and it was a dreadful situation for me. So here I am, starting just in time for the 4 o'clock session, and as soon as I come out, there's a blind man who stops me and says, "Sir, can you help me to the nearest STD booth?" STD booth, some of my contemporaries would know, some of the old people would not know what is a phone. I think I will have to say there's a phone booth rather than an STD booth. Well, so here there was a decision to be made. A blind man asking me for a help, and I am just in time, and I have to walk the 1.5 kilometers to reach my management faculty from the LBS hall, and I have timed myself to be just in time so I don't have time on hand. My God, what a tough situation. How do I manage this situation? What do I do right now? I looked up to the sky and asked God, and my moral science chapters of my youngerhood came back running to me. 3 things which I got as an answer from God when I asked him this tough question as to what do I do was, number 1, when in doubt, follow your heart. Second, when it is between yourself and helping a needy person, then there is no second thought, you should only help the needy person. And finally, when nobody else is watching, then God is still watching you, so therefore, do the right thing. My answer was very clear. I held the hand of this blind man and I took him to the STD booth. When I took him to the STD booth, that same shopkeeper who used to be so rude to us and used to frown at us because our calls were generally extending, that same man, I saw him smiling. I saw him offering a seat for the blind man to sit. So I could see that miracles have already started happening. I could feel myself as a part of the miracle. The feel-good factor was already there. Well, the blind man was very grateful, but that is his story. I leave him there, and then since I have gone in the opposite direction, now my 15 minutes walk has increased to a 25-minute walk. I've already spent my 10 minutes. And I was in a just-in-time situation. So I am running, really running, wearing a jacket. The nervous me wearing my jacket and a heavy bag, because I wanted the last minute stuff and preparation, and so I'm carrying box files and all the preparation material that we have done for the management lecture that we have to give as a part of the submission. So I'm carrying that heavy bag and a jacket, and I'm really running over there, trying to meet my deadline. Well, when I reach the faculty and I see the time, I'm already 30 minutes late. And I see Professor Dholakia, who was the dean as well as the examiner for this particular session. He is coming out, he's walking out with his briefcase, and he's sitting in his car and he zoomed past me. My God. He was supposed to be the session judge. And I see him sitting in the car and zooming past me. Later, my friends told me that 45 minutes ago there was a power shutdown. And Professor Dholakia decided to call off early that day after declaring the presentation postponement by a day. The question, was God watching me that day? I think He was. He was. And then He was the one who took out His magic wand, said abracadabra. And I could see literally the sparks coming out from the wires and the substation there being a blast at the substation just outside the management faculty. A small blast. And a thud, and then the electricity going. I could visualize these things in my mind very easily. That God probably did this to a man who was trying to follow integrity even when nobody was watching. So God that day proved that you have to follow your moral science chapters, that when in doubt, follow your heart. When it is between you and the needy person, it is the needy person. And finally, God is always watching you. Dear Toastmasters, if you really want a proof of that, just do a random act of kindness. Make sure nobody is watching you. And see how peaceful you sleep on that night. How good you feel. Thank you.